Twitch, testing the audio. We're streaming on Twitch. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check. Anything? No audio. All right. Switch scenes.
Set a timer for 7.
Back. Do we have audio now? I think we do. It's really low. Is that? People in the chat, can you hear the audio on Twitch? It seems to be low, but everything is up. Unless my headphones are just really soft. Check, check. Check, check, check. Huh, interesting. Oh, I know why. There we go. That'll be louder. There we go. I had my microphone on the other setting.
Ah, okay.
Okay. All right. I can turn that back down to normal levels now. All right. Dementia Radio.
I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick. Hold on.
Okay, I will wait for you then. Okay. Luke is running to the bathroom, so we're just gonna wait. And I'm not gonna start recording or streaming until he's back. So you get to listen to me talk about nothing for a minute and look at this beautiful face. Ooh. Ah. Audio and video are out of sync for you. I'm guessing it's you. My connection is good. And streaming seems to be good, so it must be on your end, Wildcard. Sorry. My connection just dropped to crappy levels, and it's back. So, we will see how this goes. And I really got to fix these goddamn headphones because there is... I can't keep doing this. This sucks. All right. All right. Dementia Radio now. And recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice.
Hey, Luke Ski.
What's going on this week, sir?
Well, you're here, much to our surprise, because you said you weren't going to be. But yes, we will have a pre-recorded interview with Lauren Mayer coming up later in the show. I never heard back from John Tobacco, so I wasn't able to schedule anything. So it's just going to be me and Luke tonight. So welcome to episode 644 of the Funny Music Podcast for Thursday, October 20th, 2022. The title of this week's episode is Rambunctious Party, which actually honestly sounds like one we've done already, but it did come up in the randomizer, so maybe not. I could go back and look, but I'm not sure. But it does sound familiar. So, let's do this.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
No, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Well, first of all, just wanted to say that I was under the impression originally that the Nerd Comedy Night thing that's happening this evening was starting earlier in the evening, and that's why I thought I wasn't going to be able to be on the show. And then I came to the realization, like, oh wait, it's not. The show doesn't start till 9. I don't need to be there till 8, and it's just over the hill in Hollywood, so. There's no real reason why I couldn't just, stay home and be on the FuMPCast, and then once we're done, head out and get over there in time for check-in and everything. So
cool. Well, I'm glad you were able to make it.
Yeah. Let's see. There is a person. So people. So there's a person that we all know named Kendra Shepard, who is part of the whole Needle Juice crew of awesome peoples, and she was in the Los Angeles area, and she said, "Hey, you want to hang out and go get coffee or something?" And I said, "Sure." So I went and hung out with her, and we had coffee and just talked all about comedy music and stuff, and it was a super lot of fun. So so it was totally cool to do that and just talk about.
I saw the picture you posted with her. Adorable.
Yeah, it's it's like I saw that picture and I'm like, oh dang, I actually look halfway decent. Cool. Let's see what else happened this week. There is there's tons of people out there who do the Let's Play channels, much like the Game Grumps people do. One of them is an organization called DA Games, and they do a lot of cool things. The two main hosts of that are named Chris and Will, and Chris is a fan, has been a fan of Kyle's and of Mighty Magiswords for a long time, and they do the much like Game Grumps do their they'll take clips of audio from their playing video games and doing bits and whatever, and then have people make little animatics or animations for them. The DA Games guys do the same thing on their channel, and they reached out to me about hiring me to come up with an animatic / animation kind of thing for some audio of theirs. Excuse me, of them playing a game. The game in question in this particular video is a game called Power Wash Simulator, where you're a couple of guys and you're at a house and things are dirty and you have water guns and you're literally just washing things off and making them cleaner. That's the whole game.
So it's Mario Sunshine without Mario.
Basically, yeah. So they hired me to do that, and they're paying me what I would consider to be a good decent chunk of money to do so, and they paid me half of it up front, and I'll get the other half when I'm finished. And they are they're putting out one of these a week, and they have other people involved making them. So I'm hoping this means that this could be something I could do regularly, if I could do.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. That'd be great.
So I mean, if I could do, I'm just kind of pulling this figure out of nowhere, but if I could do one of these a month, that would be very helpful, because it's I'm only doing about 40 or 50 seconds worth of animatic stuff to it, and it doesn't seem to be anything too complex. So I started working on it, and I'm having fun with it so far. They kind of give me the audio, and they give me a transcript of it, and they give me some potential directions to follow, just as suggestions, but they are fine with me going off what they suggest and coming up with my own ideas, and I have my own idea for at least one of the parts.
Cool. That sounds neat.
So that's cool. And then nothing else major jumps to mind of what I've been doing since last week. So what have you been up to?
Well, over the weekend we had a birthday party for Darren and Jeremy. This was the first time we've done a combined party for the two of them, because both of their birthdays are in October, but when they're little, the birthdays are a huge deal. We had to have separate ones. The youngest of the two is 15 now. They can deal with a combined birthday party. So just make our lives easier, make everyone's lives easier, I guess. So that was fun. And then Sunday, I did my first bit of filming for my acting class. Actually, it's not wasn't for my acting class. It was my acting class teacher was doing filming with some of his other students, and he asked me to fill in for this one scene. I don't know what the story is, why the other actor couldn't do it, but so I went down and to this theater, and we shot a scene where I was an alcoholic who met up with his brother at a bar, and had a very awkward conversation ensued that got very angry, and it was very dramatic, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm anxious to see how the footage turned out and everything. I don't know when I'm going to get to see it, but it was a lot of fun. The other thing I did is I scored tickets to see the Weird Al movie next Thursday, same as you. So both of us are going to be seeing Weird the Al Yankovic story next Thursday. So we need to figure out what we're doing for the FuMPCast. I recommend recording it like Tuesday or Wednesday, like we always do, but we can talk about that off the air. Yeah, it's playing at the Philadelphia Film Festival. So if you're in the Philadelphia area, there's might still be tickets available, because it was not. I mean, I waited a few days after I found out, just because I'm busy and scatterbrained, and there were still tickets available. So unlike the Alamo event that Al tweeted about and was sold out in minutes, this one I don't think has had a lot of publicity. So if you're in the Philadelphia area and want to see the movie, you might still have a chance. If you want to go, email me. I can hit you up with the link if you can't find it, because it's kind of buried on the website. So I think that's about it. I'm making CDs for some dude, and then I got to make more CDs for Chris Mazzalesta. So lots of CDs going in and out of this place. All right, let's get into our first track, which is the latest by John Tobacco and a couple other people whose names I forget. But here is Pick Up the Goddamn Phone, Steve.
Pick up the goddamn phone, Steve. Pick up the goddamn phone. Pick up the goddamn phone, Steve. Come on, will you? For Christ's sake. I found a forehead in the sink last week. It looked a lot like Mrs. Pink. She's on her way from Alcatraz. I saw her spilling her guts and all that jazz. Come on, pick up the goddamn phone, Steve. Jesus. For Christ's sake. Can a man masturbate in peace? Can a man do something for himself? Can a guy make spaghetti without noise? For God's sakes.
So I just thought about this just now. This song is not about Steve Goody, but it would have been funny if I got a little clip of Steve Goody reacting to this song. But sadly, I didn't think about that until just now, and it's a little late to be doing that. So, oh well.
This song to me has like an old school Dr. Demento vibe. Kind of like one of those songs that it makes no sense, but it's just so weird and unusual that it would be like a huge hit.
You know what this song is about?
No.
My Three Sons. You remember that show?
Oh. Huh.
So it says in the description, it says, underneath this quaint rhythmic confectionery of an old princess phone bell ringing incessantly, at the same time Uncle Charlie, the late William Demers from the 1960s classic TV sitcom My Three Sons, is in the bathroom keeping himself busy. He can't pick up the phone, and neither can the late Fred McMurray, best known as Steve Douglas, the father of the household. So...
That's awesome.
So Uncle Charlie's in the bathroom getting on with himself, and he's being distracted by a ringing phone that Steve won't pick up. So there you go.
It also occurred to me that "Pick Up the Goddamn Phone, Steve" is basically the same scansion as "Turn off the goddamn map light."
I thought of that too. Maybe for the next dumb parody ideas. All right, let's do some news.
This is the FuMP.
No matter what I read, it makes my palms get pretty hairy. Hot to trot. I want a pound to tingle, though I'm not a dinosaur, a Bigfoot, or a unicorn that makes him kind of so.
Got the birth rates, temple dates, eagle gates, golden plates, Latter-day Saints, and 70s honeybees, Deseret Industries, Latter-day Saints.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
Don't know a lot, but if you'd be my girl, maybe I'll hold your hair while you hurl.
Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news, the FuMP is now on TikTok. We are at the FuMP, oddly enough. We will be posting clips and short videos designed to drive traffic to the website. We're starting with the promo that you just heard or saw if you're watching the video. We reformatted that video to vertical, and Ian has already posted it on TikTok. We are planning to make highlight clips from this show, from the FuMPCast, featuring like a short clip of the song, and then a highlight clip from the interview, something like that. We'll be posting short clips from music videos, from FuMP songs, anything else we can think of to drive traffic to our website. So if you're on TikTok, please follow us. We are at the FuMP. And Nuclear Bubble Wrap has announced they have two new albums coming out, actually 2 new album sets coming out, chronicling what they are calling the parody years. Finally, The Comedy Musicians Are Taking Acid, 2005 to 2008, is a 4-disc set of Nuclear Bubble Wrap's high school years, featuring re-releases of Something Stupid This Way Comes, Jumping the Shark with Style, and Advanced at Nothing, plus a 4th bonus disc containing unreleased material from this era. Jay says, these albums will not return to streaming services. However, this 4-disc set will serve as an archive of our humble beginnings as a band, from the days where I could barely sing, Kyle could barely play guitar, and sometimes we didn't even realize we needed to record to a click track. The other release is Heady Explosions, 2009 to 2012. That's Explosions with 3 X's. This will include the re-release of Exploding Head Syndrome from 2010. Disc 1 will be the main album. Disc 2 will be selections from the You Are What You Eat and Abracadabra EPs, plus more non-album tracks from this era. And disc 3 will be the Graze the Skylines collection, a collection of experimental demos made during this time, recorded mainly for themselves with no intention for release. This release will see much of its material returning to streaming services. So we will keep you posted on when those albums are going to be available. And finally, Manic Mondays is coming up on episode 800. Next Monday's episode will be number 800, and I have something very special planned for that episode. So tune in for that. ManicMondays.net if you want to listen online, or it should be available in your favorite podcast directory. If it's not, let me know, and we'll see about adding it. All right, anything before tour dates?
Tony Goldmark's podcast, Escape from Walt Disney, just celebrated episode number 100, and he put out a chock full of people episode. He has it's himself and
I think it was 11 other people, right?
Yeah, 11 other people, 2 of which are myself and TV's Kyle. But yeah, it's kind of an all-star jamboree of the people who who frequently appear on the show. The piece that ended up the piece of media that ended up being picked was Beverly Hills Chihuahua, and I just listened to the episode this afternoon, and it is such a fun listen. It's less of a podcast and more of a rambunctious party, really, if you think about it. So So
I'm surprised that many people fit in your apartment.
Yeah, it was nuts. So go to just Google Escape from Walt Disney, look that up on your podcast places and stuff. It's on Spotify. It's all over the place, and it's a lot of fun. So highly recommend listening to it. Oh, also, there's a special prize giveaway. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but if you listen to the episode at the end, Tony announces the instructions of what you need to do to enter to win a free prize. It's an item that is autographed by everybody who was a guest that day recording that episode. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah. So tune in.
All right, tour dates. Sundays Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, hosts Steve Goody hosting at the Bluebird. Thursdays online, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. Also Thursdays online, Steve Goody and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. The 21st to the 23rd in Worthington, Ohio, Tom Smith. The 23rd in Metairie, Louisiana, the Consortium of Genius. The 23rd in Wichita, Kansas, Mikey Mason. The 29th online, MC Lars. The 30th on YouTube, Escape from the Secret Lab, featuring the Consortium of Genius. And on the 30th in Springfield, New Jersey, Carla Ulbrich and Amy Englehart. All right. Second song of the week is by Lauren Mayer. Here is Outrage Fatigue.
Here I stand, a comedy songwriter. Make the news lighter. Here's how I do it. I look for humor instead of complaining, but it can be draining. Sometimes I think, screw it. Reading just how awful things are getting is so upsetting. I get distressed. If, like me, you're still trying to keep up as problems heap up, we need some rest. I'm tired of outrage fatigue. New outrage every week, till I'm ready to shriek. Tired of the work that's required, and of legislators who should be fired. Let's face it, we're all exhausted. We've been through battles before: women's rights, the Vietnam War, crises, quite a run of. Still these new fights by the right wing are spiteful and frightening, but they're so easy to make fun of. Okay, I'll keep going. We're tired of keeping up with the news. It gives us the friggin' blues. We're so tired. God damn it, everything's fakakta. Each day, more sexism, racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, income inequality, daily mass shootings in every news post. Plus, Trump and his big lie that wrecks lives, red states intruding into our sex lives. Oh, and our planet and our democracy may be toast. I'm tired of being squeezed by this news anaconda. Ain't it a friggin' shonda? We're so... Let's face it, reading the news could drive anyone mashagana with outrage fatigue.
I'm here with Lauren Mayer. How you doing, Lauren?
I'm great, Devo. It's great to see you. Even if it's not in person, this is the next best thing. And
yeah,
life is good.
Well, yeah, it's busy. It's busy, but it's good.
Busy, and the reason you're being so nice about pre-recording is I am going on my first vacation in 6 years.
Oh wow!
Every other trip we've taken has been to see family, which is it's a break from other stuff, but it's not restful. Let's just say.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really nice. I'm so excited.
Nice, excellent. Where are you going? Any place good?
I'm going to Hawaii.
Ooh.
Yeah, but not the resort part. My best friend from high school and best friend from college, rather, and his husband they retired to the Big Island.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to stay with them.
Nice.
And it's just, so they're not even near the beach. They're on the other side, but it doesn't matter. It's just going to be great to see them and to just do nothing but lay around. And they've got a hammock and a big dog and walking paths and no work.
That sounds amazing. We'll enjoy it.
Yes.
So tell us about this song you posted.
Well, because I do these songs for those people watching who don't know, I do a new song every week based on the news. And in August, I celebrated my 10-year anniversary of doing a song every week for 10 years. And so around that, I just started looking at kind of what I had done and realized this is exhausting to do this for 10 years. And then I also know that a lot of people will look at my songs but say they don't really follow the news anymore because they're just so exhausted with what's the latest scandal, what's the latest outrage. And they're tired.
Exactly.
So as soon as I started thinking about that, and I thought, I got to do something about this. And of course, thinking I'm tired made me think about the late, great Madeline Kahn's iconic performance in Blazing Saddles. And it all comes full circle because when I first started doing these was right after my dad passed away. I started these in 2012. He died the end of 2011. His favorite movie was Blazing Saddles. And what he wanted when he had
good taste.
When he was he showed it to my kids when they were 4 and 7.
Well, I'm sure most of it went over their head.
Yes, and, having to explain up yours N-word is ironic, and you can't even say it as a joke now.
Yeah.
Just things like that, and what shtup meant, and anyway. So what he wanted when he found out he was terminally ill was to get all of his kids and grandkids together and have all of us watch Blazing Saddles and everybody yell out the lines just like we were watching Rocky Horror, because that was so. It was in my mind, I think. So I decided to channel Madeline Kahn. But of course, yet again, proving how much I will humiliate myself in the service of political satire because I dressed like her. And
okay.
I can't believe I did it. From the waist up. I had sweatpants underneath because I always film waist up. So it's like, I don't need to put on the fishnets. But yeah, I dressed like that.
I haven't watched the video yet, but we will play it on the show. So.
Okay, so brace yourself, folks. This is why middle-aged women with married kids should probably not dress like Madeline Kahn for a Halloween costume. But I went for it, so whatever.
Well, good for you. No, that's great. And that's it's one of my favorite scenes from that movie. I love that song and everything that goes with it.
so good. I did, singing deliberately off key is actually harder than it sounds.
Well,
Because,
it's harder when you're a good singer. It's very easy for me.
Oh, that's not true. You're a good singer. But to be off key enough that it's funny and not just so that you're going, is she off key? And she did it just in enough places. So I tried not to, just because I also wanted the lyrics to be intelligible. So,
Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day because I was listening to something. I don't remember what it was. But in the song, the singer was like intentionally sang a wrong note. And it was clearly, he was singing like an F sharp instead of an F. And you could hear it, but you could also hear that it was clearly an F sharp. It wasn't just that he was off.
right.
So I'm like, wow, that's gotta be difficult to like hit a wrong note while all the music around you is playing the right note.
I got introduced to a duo back when I was in high school. Their act name was, have you ever heard of Jonathan and Darlene Edwards? You
I
have
don't
to check
think
them out.
so.
It's actually Jo Stafford, who was a big band singer, her biggest recording was See the Pyramids Along the Nile. Remember that?
Oh,
And
yeah.
she did The Modern Airs with
Yeah.
Johnny Mercer. And her husband was Paul Weston, who was a band leader, although he's not that famous. And they used to do this act, Jonathan and Darlene Edwards, as a party thing, and for all their musician friends. And he would make little mistakes on the piano, and she would sing a quarter tone sharp the whole time.
Wow.
Which is really hard to do. Not quite a half step. And people convinced them, so they made a few records. And there's not a lot of them available on Spotify, but some of it is. And then it became kind of a thing. And so he did one called The Piano Artistry of Jonathan Edwards, and there's a beautifully photographed piano keyboard with two left hands playing it. Like, look, and it just looks like, wait, that's two left hands. And then they did some contemporary stuff. So they have a recording of I Am Woman.
Oh,
And
nice.
they have one of Staying Alive. It is just pee in your pants funny. So you have to check them out. But yeah, that's
I'm trying to
really hard.
imagine Staying Alive, sharp.
Staying alive. and then he makes little mistakes, so like there's an extra beat every now and then.
Nice.
He missed something. Yeah, you have to check it out. FuMP listeners, you have to. And again, I'll play it for friends, and they'll go, "Okay, enough, don't play anymore." But when I used to do a lot of late night gigs, I made back in the days. Anybody remember cassettes? So I'd make myself mixtapes of funny stuff to keep me awake on the drive home, so I wouldn't fall asleep driving home late at night from gigs that were, up in the wine country or, more than an hour's drive. I'd be tired, but I would put a good half hour's worth of Jonathan and Darlene Edwards, and it always kept me awake. So
I imagine it would. It probably like vibrate your spine and a couple of times while you're driving.
Well, and then it also, because if you are a musician and you like this kind of, you're listening, what did they do this? Oh, he did that wrong, or she messed up this phrase, or again, are you a Cole Porter fan at all?
I mean, not particularly. I'm familiar with this stuff.
There's a song called "I Love Paris," and with Cole, I have my keyboard on. Cole Porter was brilliant at making just beautiful chords and interesting palette of musicianship. Anyway, I Love Paris starts minor, so I love Paris in the springtime, I love Paris in the fall, and then I love Paris every moment. So it goes from minor to major, and she's still singing the minor, and you can hear the piano plunking out, I love Paris, and plunking it out for her. And I've played for so many singers who don't know their tunes correctly, and I've done that. So anyway, that's Jonathan and Darlene Edwards. How do we get on? Oh, singing off key.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah. So I've heard you have a new album coming out.
Yes, I do. I'm hoping to release it December 1st. Might be a little sooner. It's called Don't Mind Me, I'll Just Sit Here in the Dark. Comedy songs celebrating Jewish mothers, which is an interesting and I hope different concept. Instead of making fun of Jewish mothers from the perspective of their annoyed kids, I'm reclaiming the stereotype or the character so that we can be funny but not so negative. Because, all the comedy about Jewish mothers is we are nagging, shrewish, intrusive, never satisfied, guilt-inducing, pushy, obnoxious. And
or not.
Mm-hmm.
But we can be funny. So can I find some stuff that's funny without using the lazy old stuff that was never true to begin with? So it's kind of a little statement, but I hope that people will think the songs are funny. I think they are. So that's coming out December 1st. And we were talking about that offline. I started writing it middle of July. I started recording the beginning of October. So
it's a lot of work in addition to the song a week that you're still doing.
In addition to Song of the Week, which I've kept going, more parodies lately, like the one you're about to play, because they are a lot easier to do, obviously. And a good parody is definitely an art form. So I try to alternate that with original songs, but I've been doing more parodies lately just because I'm exhausted. So, which also leads into the song about being exhausted. So,
perfect.
But yes, and then also, I'm still teaching at the conservatory, still teaching lessons, still doing an occasional other gig here or so. It's crazy, and I'm too old to work this hard.
All right. So, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Just the album coming up, and if anybody isn't following me on YouTube, my channel is Psycho Supermom. And that's it for now. I'm back to doing my Facebook live streams, so I will send you guys the first Sunday of every month, 4 p.m. Pacific, at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're in the middle, you can figure it out. And so my next one will be November 6th, I believe, is the next first Sunday. So I will have that, and that's free. So it's just on my Facebook page, which is Lord Mayor Comedy Songs.
All right, so tune into that, folks. All right, well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for accommodating my need to do this.
Oh, anytime.
So, and have a good show, and I will talk to you guys soon.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback.
Feedback.
Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now?
Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
Baramon says, like, subscribe, and use your free Amazon Twitch Prime subscription. Support your local comedy musicians. They are doing God's work. Amen. Baramon wrote, I keep making notes about feedback stuff and not actually writing the email out, so some of this stuff is pretty old. You mentioned at one point about putting extras in with your CDs. I loved your dot-eating man game that was on the Fatal Error CD, and discovered in quick succession that the map didn't count the number of dots eaten, but the number remaining on the map, because the map was an editable text file, and that there was no kill screen since you rewrote the code from the ground up. Anyways, that was a great addition. Thanks. Every time you ask a guest if they're going to stay or take off, I expect someone to say, yeah, take off, eh? A la Bob and Doug. Playlist ideas, Cthulhu, Scarecrows, Brendan Fraser, and kids' songs. You've done the feedback tag twice, and both times Luke wasn't on the show, so he hasn't heard it. I assume he doesn't listen to the episodes he's not on. He's out the next 2 episodes, so I wonder how long this trend will last. Thanks for all the fish/entertainment. Thank you, Baramon.
Well, I have heard it now, so there.
No, the no feedback tag. Have you heard the no feedback tag?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I can play it just so you can hear it.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
Hello, Devo. Hello, Luke. Baramon here. I'm afraid there's no feedback this week. No feedback at all. I know how frustrating this is, with you going through the effort of crafting an intro for everyone. So now is the time to remind them to subscribe. Use that Prime subscription if they have one. It's free. There you go. That's a good boy. Have a biscuit.
Damn it!
So that's a thing we have for when there's no feedback. All right.
Alvarant
wrote, what other podcasts do you recommend? Talk About Tunes was mentioned before, so was Bad Rapport, and the Disney one with Tony Goldmark, but are there others you think are worth trying out? Other music podcasts I recommend is FuMPCast and Scoundrels Inn. Well, that is a large question and depends very much so on what you are into. For comedy music, there aren't many others that I'm aware of. Jake Waters used to do one. Mad Music Archive, I think, still occasionally does a show. I don't know if it's still podcast or not, though.
There is the band from England called Flat 29.
Are they still doing that show?
Well, that's the thing. Their last episode was posted sometime in 2021. Whoops. Am I still here?
Yep.
Okay. And what they used to do was they used to do an episode every 2 weeks, and each episode was on a different topic, and then one of the three of them would come up with a song on that topic, and that was kind of how they built up song ideas for releasing their albums and stuff. And then their lives just got super busy, and at least one, if not more than one of them, had kids and stuff like that. So then they got like really sporadic with it, and like I said, the most recent episode was sometime last year. But if you've never heard the podcast, I'd highly recommend going back to their early episodes, which I think were in like 2010. I think I'd assume they still have those all up, in at their website or on whatever the podcast servers are. So go to podcast.flat29.com, or just go to flat29.com, or just look up Flat 29's Big Book of Everything. This isn't comedy music oriented, but I wanted to mention it to Devo, and just because it's very similar to News of the Stupid. There's a podcast done by the duo comedians, the Sklar brothers, called Dumb People Town, and it's been going on for they've been doing this at least since 2017, possibly earlier. But it's basically the two of them and another comedian named Daniel Van Kirk, and then they'll typically have another guest comedian be on every episode. Like Patton Oswalt's been on there, and Weird Al's been on a couple of the episodes. But they basically find three news articles that are that type of News of the Stupid type of thing, and then they'll spend 45 minutes to, talking about the three stories, and then Daniel Van Kirk, who he kind of reads the stories so the other guys haven't heard him yet, and then if there's any part of the story that could turn into a guessing game, he'll say okay, this guy robbed a Waffle House, with a garden hose, and and he got how much money, and then they would have to guess how much money the robbery was worth, whatever, or
yeah.
Or something they'll do a lot is name, or they'll have them guess how old the person was that committed whatever the crime was, or something like that. So anyway, Dumb People Town is the name of that podcast. Yeah, that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
So if you're into creative writing, as in you want to be a writer, I can recommend two. My friend Mer Lafferty does a show called I Should Be Writing, which is writing advice for newbie writers. And she does another show with Matt Wallace called Ditch Diggers, which is about the business side of writing. And I actually did the theme song to Ditch Diggers. If you're into listening to fiction, specifically sci-fi, fantasy, horror, look up the... Oh crap! I forget the parent company name, but there's Escape Pod for science fiction, Pseudopod for horror, Podcastle for fantasy, and I believe they just started another one for young adult type fiction. There's great stuff on there. It's roughly a half an hour episode every week of new fiction by different authors. There's also speaking of authors, Scott Sigler does a podcast every week where he podcasts his audio, his fiction in audio form, and I'm a big fan of his, so I listen to that. There's the Twit Network, This Week in Tech. This Week in Tech is a weekly show about general, technology news and updates and happenings in the world of technology. And Twit has an entire network of shows. There's 15 or 20 shows available. I listen to This Week in Tech and Mac Break Weekly, which is a Macintosh news type show. I listen to the other shows on occasion. There's This Week in Google, and I'm blanking on all the other ones. iOS Today. There's a Linux show. There's a Windows show. You know, if you're into technology in any form, there's a photography show. And those shows are all video, and they're actually like on the Roku channel and stuff. So there's a Twit app for the Roku that you can watch on the TV and stuff. It's really cool. All right. I think there's enough podcast talk for now. And
Draconis alert. Draconis alert. Draconis alert.
Draconis wrote, "Well, Alvarant, what about Manic Mondays, since it's about to get its 800th episode on Monday, or The Insider? This week we have the Tobacco Mayor and John Lauren. John, what led you to discover the FuMP? Lauren, do you consider Ian that guy? And if Ian is on, what's your opinion of the Evercade system and their games lineup and cost?" So, sorry, Draconis, none of those people are here to answer your questions at the moment. So, sorry. All right, that's it for feedback. Let's do some teasing.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job. Yeah.
Tomorrow's song is by Jake Duar, and
Tuesday's song is not yet posted.
All right. And I don't have a topic for this week's playlist, but Baramon suggested Cthulhu. I know there's a handful of Cthulhu songs. I don't know if I have enough to do a full playlist, though. I know that Cog have one. Tom Smith has one.
Tom Smith has several.
It's true.
Mikey Mason did Scooby-Thulu.
Scooby-Thulu, that's right. Oh, thank you, the Brimstoner. The parent company of Escape Pod is Escape Artists. I don't know why I forgot that, but...
Me and Tom Smith did Cthulhu Fathagan.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Cthulhu Fathagan.
I wonder if the Cthulhu song from South Park is on Spotify. The one that Cartman sings when he's flying around on Cthulhu.
Ooh, maybe. I'll have to look up the name of that.
Probably like Me and Cthulhu, I'm guessing would be the title of it.
So the Cog has What a Friend We Have in Cthulhu. All right, I'll see what else I can find. If not, I'll just delve off into other songs about horror, because that will work. All right. Not sure John Tobacco's website. I think it's johntobacco.com. johntobacco.net, sorry. And Lauren Mayer is at laurenmayer.com, and Psycho Supermom on Twitter. You got anything else, Luke?
Nope, that's about it.
All right, have a good show tonight. And
Thanks.
Let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski.
And nobody else is here.
We're all alone.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org, and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
Chihuahua.